Hello and welcome to my presentation on the Elton John. Let's begin. Okay, so like any story, I believe it's appropriate to start at the beginning when he was born. Alright, so Elton John was born March 25th, 1947 in Pinner, England, but he wasn't born with the name Elton John. He was born with the name Reginald Kenneth Dwight. And he did not have the best life growing up. Like, his mom was abusive, his dad was never home, but when he was home, he was abusive. So it wasn't really the best. But one fateful day when he was only 4 years old, he sat down at the piano and he played. So his parents were like, whoa, he can play, he's got talent. So they got him a tutor, and the tutor saw it, and she was like, yeah, this kid can play, let's do something. So he dipped out of regular school and he went to the Royal Academy of Music, where he kept doing good, and then later on joined a band that was called Bluesology. There he is. But Bluesology didn't really go anywhere. Like, they stuck to like pubs and stuff, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna go do my own thing. So he goes to a record company called Liberty, and they're like, yeah, you can play, you can sing, but your lyrics suck. Your lyrics suck. So they handed him a little envelope of lyrics written by the one, the only Bernie Taupin. Yes! Just ignore his hair. But that man could write. That man could write. So him and Elton got together and they wrote their first ever song that the critics ate up. They loved it. Which was Lady Samantha on the Empty Sky album. Hold on. On the Empty Sky album, which I have. And they didn't really eat that one up. The public didn't. So they came out with another album, and that one was called Elton John. Creative, I know. So they come out with Elton John. That one has Your Song on it, which you've probably heard it before. It's the one that's like, it's a little bit funny, you know. So they have that one, and the people eat it up. So they have to give them more, and they do. They then come out with Honky Chateau, which has Rocket Man on it, which was his most popular song and still is to this day. Then they came out with Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which has Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and Betty and the Jets on it. But sadly, with fame, there does come some sadness. And that sadness starts when Elton John's at a party, right? And he wanders in the back, and there's his friend John. What is John doing? He's creating white lines of powder. And Elton's like, what's up? What is that? And he goes, oh, I don't know. It just makes me feel good. So Elton tries it. And then that starts his addiction to cocaine. And then it spirals down. And let's go through the list of addictions he had. There was a coke addiction, an addiction to alcohol, an addiction to sex. He had issues with marijuana and issues with bulimia, all while dealing with coming to terms with the fact that he was a gay man during the 70s. And as we know, the 70s were not an accepting time. And it was hard when he first came out to his mother, Miss Sheila. When he came out to Miss Sheila, you know what she said? She said, yeah, I know, but you're the one choosing to be unloved. You're the one choosing. Sheila! My God! And that broke his heart, and he still had to come out to the people, so he came out to them, and they were like, okay. Like, for being the 70s, like, his fame didn't tank. They were like, okay, sure. But there was one newspaper later on called The Sun. All my homies hate The Sun. They came out with extremely homophobic and perverted articles about him. One of them claiming that he slept with a minor, which wasn't true, and he sued them, and he won. So, but as heroes do, he did bounce back. He went to therapy in his 40s. Not therapy, AA, yeah, in his 40s, and he got all fixed up, he got better, he helped himself throughout all his addiction and going through the AA. And then he met a man named David Furnish, and they would later on get married and adopt their kids together. And to stay famous without doing like albums as much, he did things like he created the music for Lion King. He was a voice in South Park. He made the Rocket Man movie. Well, you know, he was there for it. And with all that going, he also had a AIDS foundation called the Elton John AIDS Foundation, because he's creative when it comes to titles, really. And he's still working hard with it. It's to help stop the spread of AIDS and help get rid of any homophobic issues that come with the AIDS virus. So that's cool. But Elton John, he was like, I'm getting old. I don't want to do this anymore. So he does the Elton John Farewell Tour, and it lasted from 2018 to 2023, 330 shows, while at the age of 70. But he does it. He retires. Now he's with his 2 sons and his husband. And guess who's the godmother? Lady Gaga is. And now he's just doing good, living his peaceful life with his family. And why I chose him as my hero is because he's not only such a voice for LGBTQ plus community, but did I say that right? Community. But he's just a very good example of like, you can like learn and you can grow. Like, he did bad things when he was young, when he first started. You can do dumb things when you're younger and still grow and learn from it and become a good person. And I think he's such a good like example of that. And that's why I chose him. Thank you.